Exception, it appears. Exceptions, the enemy of eternity.
What's up, my fellow dolphins? It's Casual Dolphin here. This video is for all of you out there that's trying to figure out how we want to maximize our resin while we wait for Baal's banner next week. Primarily, this is going to really focus on the Leyline event that's happening right now. Let's get to it.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Alright, so the Leyline Overflow event. The main event that's happening right now, and the most beneficial one for all of us that are trying to save up to max level our Baal and Sara. Of course, the main thing you have to think about is which one do you need the most of, the purple books or your Mora. Mora being one of the more difficult ones to farm, but I would say that the books are going to be just as important, considering that we're going to get Baal and most likely Sara, so you're going to need at least over 300 of the purple books. That's not how much you obviously need to max out one character, but you're going to need that because we're getting Baal, we're getting Sara, and we're going to get Aloy, and that's a lot of books. So my recommendation is most likely to focus on at least 2 of the ley lines on books and 1 ley line on Mora. The other thing you want to consider is the specific items related to those characters. There isn't an actual official announcement of what items are required for each character, like Baal or Sara. However, based on some leaked footage and information out there in the world and from the beta, there are speculations on what those items can be. So, as some of you may know or may not know, it's probably a good time to farm those Nabushis for the handguard items. Obviously, the robots here are definitely something you want to start farming as well. Not necessarily for any specific character, but the robots are so finite in farming ability for their items that if you even decide to do any of the craftable weapons or any of the new weapons in the future, not saying that your items are specific for those weapons, but it's definitely a good idea to get the robot items or drops because they're so finite and few. And that's actually something I wanted to mention with the Leyline event, is that the Leyline event, you have a very good chance of having them drop, and then they'll drop their items as well. So you have more ability to farm them outside of the 11 that are on the Inazuma map. So that's something to keep in mind as well while you're trying to maximize your resin, because you'll be able to farm their items as well on top of either your book or your Mora Leyline. Now, I did add a little extra to this footage that I captured. I was in the middle of doing my dailies as well, and as some of you may have noticed, I have the commission that's out on the island there where you need to get the boat to get there. If you haven't checked it out yet, the Genshin Impact Reddit page has some really funny footage from other players out there in the world and fan art and everything. But this specifically spoke out to me, and I had to make sure that I tried it out. So the footage that's on Reddit actually shows the player doing this to both of them at the same time. And it's definitely a lot harder than you initially think. But once you kind of figure out how to get them trapped, it's kind of funny to get them stuck like this. And death. Yeah, the footage that I saw had both of them drowning like that. So I was really excited to give it a try that I had this commission. So definitely, if you have this commission, give this a try. It's kind of funny. It's not too difficult, as you can see from the footage, and I'm sure if you've seen it on Reddit, the other player definitely made it look a lot more simpler than I'm making it look. But for all of you casual gamers out there, this is how you do it. This is how you get these guys quick. Another thing to keep in mind while you're trying to farm for your books and or Mora with the Leyline is to remember not to make your condensed resin, because the condensed resin does not translate over to getting the double drop for the ley lines. So definitely remember to do your ley lines first before you decide to start condensing your resin. Obviously, condensing resin saves you a bunch of time in regards to the domains, but it's not gonna double dip as some people thought initially. So definitely don't do that. Now I hope everybody's been definitely saving their fragile resin. That's definitely gonna come in handy, and I think a lot of players need to make sure that they have a good amount of those for when Baal's banner drops, because there are going to be items that are exclusive to her after the banner drops, so there's nothing you can pre-farm for her. So don't forget to save some of those fragile resins so that you're able to farm the Electro-Oceanid boss, because you're going to need those drops for her. So don't waste your fragile resin trying to farm her domain right now, or farming her possible books at this point in time. You need to save as much of your resin as you can so that you can farm the Oceanid, if that's how fast you want to farm those items. If you're trying to max Baal out within the first few days of pulling her, you're definitely going to want to set aside some resin for after the banner so that you can farm the Oceanid, and then possibly farming Less Ignora as the weekly boss. So there's going to be a point where we can't level her after level 8 throughout her talents probably, because we're not going to be able to meet the weekly boss grind. But either way, you'll at least be able to get the Electric Oceanid out of the way, and that way, while you're waiting for the weeklies to go through again, you can start farming for the other items you may need, like Sara books, or Baal's books, or hopefully, if you get lucky, pulling the weapon for Baal. So there's that as well. If by chance you do happen to get the weapon, whether it's these items that I'm on right now or not, if you're planning to max out the weapon, it's going to be 6 gold, 15 purple, 15 blue, and 5 gray. So it's 6, 15, 15, 5. Just to keep that in mind if you're going to start farming for those weapon items as well. Something else to consider is saving your transient resin from your teapot. As you can see, this specific one that I bought has 11 days left over, and thankfully 11 days transfers over, right? So the Yoimiya banner ends in 6 days, so that means that transient resin, when it expires in 11 days, I'll be able to use towards Baal's materials that I need to do. So that's why I'm holding on to that transient resin as well. Plus, I'll get another one from the teapot once the new week starts on Monday. So I'll have 2 of those expendable ones that I'll be able to use for Baal material. Now, as you can see, I've been saving up for Baal. I'm definitely an Archon collector. I do possibly plan on topping up once it resets. I am a casual dolphin, so I do plan to spend maybe a little bit of money, at least $100, just so we can see what we can get I plan on at least trying to get Constellation 3, and I'm gonna actually try and pull for her weapon as well. I think Baal's gonna be a very unique gameplay character to play as, and she's gonna be very meta as the time goes on in the game, just like Zhongli and Venti. Alright, that's it for my video. I hope we learned a little bit and took some strategies to take on when Baal comes out next week. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of my content, you can always push that like and subscribe button to support me to continue to make more videos. As I'm just starting off, I plan on making more content as I continue on. I hope to continue this journey with all of you. Thanks a lot. See you next time.